Hi, we're underneath the hood of our 1977 first generation Bronco. This guy is so original, it's spooky. Power steering, power brakes, electronic ignition. The engine that this car was born with, the original intake manifold, the original cast iron exhaust manifolds, the original 2-barrel Autolite carburetor that it came with, the original air cleaner with the original cold air induction to it, and the original down tube that goes down for it. New water pump, new alternator, original jack still intact in the bracketry there, original reservoir for the windshield washers. Radiator core sports, all original, it's never been bumped anywhere. Original equipment radiator, I find it hard to believe it would be the original one. I'm sure it's a replacement or it's been redone, but it's the high flow, high capacity radiator that these guys came with. This car is just as nice underneath the hood that you could ever hope to find one. Original overflow reservoir for the radiator over here also. It is a 3-speed on the tree, 3 on the tree. Same pattern, same H pattern, but it's on the steering column as opposed to on the floor. Power steering, power brakes, this original motor. It's just a very, very difficult vehicle to find, especially in this condition. No rust, no issues with the vehicle. It's one repaint on the outside. It's never been bumped anywhere. It's just a really great, hard to find vehicle. And the last year of production, 1977, for the first generation Bronco. Very difficult vehicle to find or to replace. And we got it here at Hanksters. I love it. I don't have any idea how long this guy's going to last. We've had about 7 of these, I believe, and I think the most anyone has lasted is maybe about 2-3 weeks. That's it. Once they get up and once they hit the internet, it just seems like they vaporize. They're gone. This thing is a represented original vehicle. It's not something that has bigger wheels and tires on it. It's not been modified suspension-wise. It's not been modified mechanically in any way. The tires are the original equipment type tires that came on these vehicles. Just a really great 1977 Ford first generation Bronco. The paint on this vehicle is really nice. You can see the fitment of the hood is nice. Everything's nice and tight on it. Nice contrast with the white and the red. It has a white interior, a white top, white grille, white accents, and a red vehicle. The paint on it, like I say, is very clean, very nice. Chrome on the bumper is as nice and sweet as you'd ever want to find. Actually, it looks a lot nicer than it was when it was new. I'm sure that these cars did not have this this degree of quality on the chrome whenever they came from the factory in 1977. Great front end. Again, you can see the seams, the gaps on the hood, fitment of the bumper. Everything on this thing in the front is just as nice as you could ever hope to find. Let's see what's on the driver's side. Okay, down the driver's side of our 77 last year Bronco 2. Side marker light, really nice. Notice the fitment of the fender to the front nose section. Everything on this car is really nicely fitted. I'm really impressed with the fitment of the trim, the doors, just everything on this. Very basic vehicle. No fender flares on it, no big wheels and tires, nothing really fancy. Just the way it came from the factory in 1997. How about 77? Let's try 77. 97, I don't think they made these. Great looking vehicle. Bronco name, doesn't have any pitting or any issues with the quality of it. Rubber around the wing window is really nice. Actually, it's original and it's still very nice. Same thing with the windshield. The rubber's original and I can't see where it's even been anything other than one repaint. That's it. Original wiper arms and blades on the vehicle. The correct style mirrors for a 77 Bronco, and it's not the bigger mirrors, they're the smaller, sportier mirrors. Fender to the door is absolutely beautiful. These cars are not really fit that well generally, and this is an exception to the rule. The fitment of this thing is really very nicely done. Paint on the top, Of course, we're not concerned with chrome drip rail or stainless drip rail molding or trim around the windows or anything. These vehicles were very basic vehicles made for a purpose, you know, to use as a utility vehicle and also some off-roading. It does have the original hubcaps on it. It has the original type of wheel and tire that would have come on the car in '77. It also has lockout hubs in the front for the four-wheel drive, which does function on this vehicle. Paint on the top and down the side of this car is just as nice as you'd ever want to find. Chrome on the door handles, I'm sure they've been replaced, is absolutely new. Absolutely flawless. It's amazing the trim, how it lines up so well on this, and there's no dents or marks or anything in it. Front gas tank and a rear gas tank. So you got two tanks on this guy that you can switch back and forth, and the gauge does indicate which tank it is also. Again, the fender lips, the tin on the vehicle is just absolutely undisrupted. No one's ever messed with it, tried to put bigger wheels and tires on it or anything. The quarter panel where it transitions onto the rear tail piece is, you can hardly see it, but there is a seam there, and it's just fit together flawlessly. Absolutely beautiful. Side marker light on the back, just like it is on the front. Straight as an arrow down the side of this car on the driver's side. Let's see if we can find something on the back that's amiss. Okay, around the back side of our 1977 Bronco. Again, the paint on this top is really, really nice. It's a cream white, which is a correct Ford color for this vehicle back in 1977. Again, the rubber is still nice and pliable around the rear glass, which doesn't have any marks or chips or anything in it. It's very, very clear, nice glass. Tailgate again, no marks of anything. Look how this trim lines up on this thing. It's amazing. It just lines up. It's so linear the whole way around this vehicle. It's just totally amazing. Really amazing vehicle. Ford in white to stand off of the tailgate there. Paint fitment of the tailgate, you can see it's just absolutely gorgeous. Look at the fit on this thing. Just totally amazing how it fits. And the bumper the same way. I mean, it's hard to believe we're looking at a '77 Bronco, and we're happy when we get B-body Mopars and Camaros and Chevelles to have that kind of fitment on things. This car has it in a '77 Bronco. Fantastic vehicle so far. Let's see what's on the passenger side. Okay, passenger side of our '77 Bronco. I neglected to mention the taillights are nice and clear and shiny, and the anodized aluminum around them is just absolutely flawless, just like the day it was new. I don't see marks on either one, no dents, no deterioration, no corrosion. Again, the top on the side of this vehicle just fits as nice as could possibly be on it. Side marker light, just like the other two guys there, just as nice as can be. Little chrome extension on our single exhaust, and you'll see from undercarriage video whenever we do it, it does have an original equipment type exhaust system on it. Single pipe on it, just the way it would have come from the factory, including the catalytic converter in 1977. Okay, side trim. Yeah, I found something. There's a little tiny ding. It looked like at some point somebody opened the door. Must have been off of a truck or something. Couldn't have been off a Corvette or a Porsche, I can tell you that. But there's a little tiny mark there, a little tiny bit of a ding. You probably won't even see it in the video, but it's there. Paint on this quarter panel, the same as everywhere else on this vehicle. It's just as gorgeous as it could be. Nice tin lips on it yet that no one's rolled them under or put bigger tires on this at any point where it started to rub on the fender lips. Handle on the door the same way as the other one, as nice as can be. And the door could use a little bit of an adjust on the bottom here. You can see it, it sticks out just a little bit. It doesn't fit quite as well as the other door. Could use a little tweak. Fuzzies wipes are original. They're there. We may replace them, we may not. It does have original ones in them. No, we'll have to take a look at that a little closer. Maybe we'll put new ones on it anyway. Again, the trim just lines up. Look how can't believe how that trim lines up. Okay, the wing. Again, Rubber around it as sweet as can be, around the windshield. Door to the front fender. Now that fits very, very well. Very well. Front fender on this vehicle. Same as the rest of this vehicle. The paint, fit, finish, everything is as sweet as could be. I like these hubcaps on this vehicle too. It gives it a real nice pop to it, but it's an original hubcap. They're not damaged or dented anywhere that we can see. They still have the original plastic little red rings in them, just the way they came in 77. Nice set of caps on it. Side marker light in this front fender the same way. It's a 1977, last year for first generation Bronco. These things are very, very difficult to find. If you check around, you'll see what I mean. They're expensive to buy whenever you find them where they're really, really lifted up and done to the nth degree. It's not uncommon to see these vehicles go for six figures. You'll see them at $100,000 mark. In fact, they had a Baja edition. I just watched two of them. One did 108 and the other one did 128. A little more rare than this particular one, but guaranteed not any nicer than this vehicle. This is as sweet a combination of color that you could get, of mechanicals. Original interior, which we're going to show you here in a minute. It's a real difficult vehicle to find. We've been lucky enough, and Kevin found this one. I don't know how he did it, but he dug this one up and bought it off the owner, and it's just one of those vehicles that it would be impossible to replace one with this much originality in this condition. He really did us a big favor getting us this guy. It's available at Hanksters in Daytona Beach and nowhere else. Okay, we're inside of our 1977 Bronco. White interior, original interior, not redone, original seats, original genuine plastic rubber mats in it. This particular one is a 3-speed on the column, 3 in the tree, 1, 2, 3, and reverse. Shifter for the transfer case for 4-wheel drive. The dash is still original paint from what I can see. Original equipment, AM radio. Check this out. An old-time converter to change from AM over to FM. They call them converters so that you could have AM and FM on your radios. Power steering. This car is just as new inside as you could ever find. The headliner is white. It's the original one. It's not hanging. It's not distorted in any way. It's not miscolored. Original back seat. Original armrest on the back seat yet. Original side panels. It has an aftermarket little console section here in the center with a couple of cup holders. That is not from Ford, but obviously someone added that, which is a great addition. Now you have a place to hold your drinks and put your phone and sunglasses and everywhere else. Steering wheel had a couple of small, little tiny cracks in it from age, from shrinkage, that have been addressed, that have been filled. If you really look, you can see them. You can almost feel them. This one here you can feel. The other two, you really got to look to find them. Horn works. Everything in this baby works. It's just as nice a vehicle as you'll ever find. And it has all the seat belts. It has seat belts in the rear and the belts in the front also. I can't imagine that there could be a nicer, more original 77 last year Bronco available anywhere. This vehicle is just over the top nice. The paint, the fit, the finish, the appointments, the originality. It's just a really nice straight vehicle, and we're really proud to have it here at Hanksters. And thank you, Kevin, for getting it for us because we really needed it. The last one only lasted 2 weeks, and then this probably won't even do that. As soon as it hits the website, we're going to be getting a flood of calls. Well, we're underneath our first generation Bronco. This one happens to be white cap, red body. Really neat vehicles, these things. We can't keep them. This is about the 7th or 8th one we've had, and they don't sell, they just vaporize, they just leave. You know, it's just hard to find them that aren't completely trashed. And we've been lucky enough to find a bunch that have had no real rust issues, no real problems to address for us. This particular one apparently still houses its original 302 V8. We don't check numbers on it, but I'm sure it's just, it looks like it's never been out of this vehicle other than for just a fresh up. It's the original carburetor on it yet, original intake, original exhaust manifolds. Everything appears to be original on the engine. Heavy duty front differential in this because it is 4-wheel drive. Disc brakes on the front of this with newer looking calipers. All the steering gear is nice and fresh. Steering stabilizer on the front. Newer shocks, heavy duty shocks on the front end also. Cast iron manifolds with a Y pipe, apparently 2 inches, going into an original equipment style catalytic converter. Your swing arm front suspension, the bushings are still real nice on it, real tight. They're not, they're original, but they're not, they don't need replaced. They're still nice and tight rubber. Really good looking bushings on the front end of this car. U-joints on the front drive shaft are nice and tight looking. They're not brand new, but they're fresh enough that they don't need to be replaced. If you notice, no leaks on the engine or the transmission, where in this case it happens to be a 3 on a tree. Same pattern as on the floor. It's still an H pattern, but it's on the steering column, so it's a little easier to use. You get a little more floor room. Still functions exactly the same way. Nice heavy duty clutch in it. No leaks on the transmission or bell housing in this vehicle, and the transfer case is also leak-free, and it does function as it should. Newer U-joints on the drive shaft to the rear. The frame on these vehicles is a full perimeter frame, but it's also a full box channel frame. It's not a C-channel. This is a very strong frame that Ford chose to put on these vehicles, probably because they figured that they would be used in a lot of off-road conditions. The floor pans are the original floor pans with the structural supports over to them. Front gas tank, they're plastic, so we don't have to worry about them, but it does have a skid plate on it. The original Ford skid plate is still there. Also a skid plate for the transfer case on this vehicle. No marks on the frame anywhere in the front. No marks on the floor pans, fender wells, main pan. Parking brake assembly is original and still functional. Brake lines I can't see. Yes, I can. There they are. They're going back here. Also the fuel line. Fuel line's been replaced. Brake lines still appear to be original, and they're in nice condition, real nice shape. So moving halfway down through the vehicle, I don't see anything on this particular one that's amiss. So let's see what's on the other half. Okay, the second half of our first generation Bronco. The frame on the back half is just the way it was on the front half, just totally undisturbed. You can see the welding just as nice and clean and crisp as it was when it left the factory. Really, really a nice Bronco here, guys. This thing really is nice and one as you're ever going to find. Discs in the front, drums in the back, heavy-duty shocks in the rear. Heavy-duty multi-leaf rear springs both sides, of course, with an extra leaf added on the bottom. Probably a heavier-duty suspension. Same 2-inch pipe coming out of the original equipment-style muffler into the single exhaust. Another skid plate over the original gas tank that's housed in this vehicle. Everything in this vehicle appears to be original and no rust, none whatsoever. 9-inch heavy-duty Ford rear end. This thing is as nice a Bronco as you're ever going to find. Spring perches in the front are real nice. The spring hangs in the back, where normally they collect a lot of debris. Are not rusted or deteriorated at all. The front, the front pan is beautiful on this vehicle. The front structural support going across the back, which houses the bumper, is just as nice as can possibly be. Also, really a nice car. I mean, it's just as original underneath as you could ever hope to find one. Most of these things are really, really hammered through the years, and it's very difficult to find them where someone just used them as a commuter. And obviously that's what the duty was for this vehicle. You can see it's not some vehicle that's been twisted and off-roaded and used in a detrimental way. It's a nice, straight, original type Bronco in a great color combination, 3 in a tree, steering and brakes, no air, correct motor. It's as nice as you're going to find one here in Hangsters in Daytona Beach, Florida.